go. Mr. Alderson isn't here yet, is he?
No, señorita. Senor Gerard only left a few moments ago to pick him up at the station.
Thank you.
Yes, señorita.
Not a sound, amigo. Not one peep.
No, senor.
Put him in the tack room and tie him up.
Mother, the candelabras are lovely.
Give Silas the credit. He's been cleaning them all morning.
Silas, they're beautiful.
Thank you, Miss Audrey.
Did you get everything?
Well, they were out of Verdoli and brandy, but they said this would be just as good.
Is this all right, Mrs. Bachner?
Perfect. Just perfect, Silas.
Thank you.
And let's see, did we forget anything?
The flowers would be nice.
I'll cut some fresh from the garden.
Thank you.
Put him with the other one.
Is there anything else I can do for you, Mother?
No, but you better get yourself dressed. Who are you?
Easy, ma'am.
What do you want?
I have the regretful duty, ma'am, to inform you that we're here to execute a sentence of death. Part of our stock right over there.
Ah, yes. Well, now, that's the way fine animals were meant to be seen. Running free. Nothing touching them except the sun and God's own clean air. Magnificent.
I trust the Army realizes we expect a magnificent price for them, General.
Well, if they're all like that, we'll be doing business. But it isn't general anymore. Just a civilian now, you know. Just a civilian working for the Army Purchasing Department.
I stand corrected. Oh, you see that lead stallion there?
Mm-hmm.
Now, that one is really going to cost you. Nick raised it.
Oh-ho. Nick still loves horses, huh?
That he does.
I remember just before the Battle of Shiloh. I called a staff meeting. Everybody got there on time except my aide. You know where that brother of yours was? Doctoring a sick horse. When I called him on the carpet about it later, he said, "General, you're the one who'll be ordering me into trouble, but it's the horse I'm riding who'll get me out of it."
That's Nick, all right.
Yes, sir.
That's too bad he's away. I know he'll be sorry he missed seeing you.
Oh, well. I'd probably just be boring him with an old man's memories. The war years are best forgotten anyway, you know?
I suppose so. But it's good to remember that we won something important.
We lost something important, too, though. The South was part of us, you know. When we killed their men, burnt their fields, gutted their homes, we destroyed part of ourselves as well.
Well, we should be home soon.
Did you get our horses out of sight?
Yeah, I hid them in the grove.
Good. Barkley and Alderson will be here soon. As soon as you get rid of this rig, get up the road and keep a lookout.
Right.
No one upstairs. I guess we got them all.
Take a look out back.
Don't you think it's about time you explained what you're doing here?
Let me know as soon as you see them. Ladies, I'm afraid I'm going to have to put you someplace for safekeeping.
Safekeeping from what?
What about the attic? Should be all right. Come on, ladies.
Mother, don't go with him.
I have no intention of going anyplace, not until I've had an explanation.
Oh, please don't make it difficult for yourself. I'll try not to inconvenience you any more than necessary. The reason for all this will become apparent in good time.
Sorry.
Mrs. Barkley, my patience is not unlimited.
Neither is mine.
Well, I'm afraid two of you Barkley women is a little bit too much for even me to handle. So I guess I'll have to make it easy on myself. Ladies, if you don't mind. Curtis, come with me. I want you to stay with him. I'm sorry to be so uninformative, but if you were to know too much at this point, you'd only be needlessly worried.
Needless, you said you were here to kill someone.
Oh, no. I did not say kill. My exact words were to execute a sentence of death. An execution many years overdue.
Who passed this sentence?
We did.
You won't get away with it.
We employ a lot of men on this ranch.
You're all away on a trail drive.
Friends drop by.
That'll be their bad luck. Well, very comfortable indeed.
Want me to tie him up?
Oh, I don't think that'll be necessary.
My brother Gerard will be home soon.
That, my dear, is what we're counting on.
They're here.
All right, get ready. This is what we've been waiting for. Get Tanner. Ciego? Ciego!
Where the devil could he be?
Well, General, shall we go inside and meet the family? Hello? Mother? Audra? Where is everybody? Huh, that's funny. We were expected. Well, suppose I start you on a nice tall bourbon while I find out where everybody is. Good. Good afternoon, Mr. Barkley.
Good afternoon. You'll forgive me, gentlemen, but I don't believe I've had the pleasure.
No, you haven't.
But at the risk of sounding inhospitable, may I ask what it is you're doing here? Where's my family?
The ladies are, in another part of the house.
Where in the house?
In the attic. With a man. Man with a gun. A gun that may go off unless you do exactly as you're told.
What do you want here?
Your gun, Tanner.
What is this, boys? A robbery?
No, it's not.
Then why are you victimizing this man's family?
Victimizing? Oh, that's an interesting word. Sound familiar to any of you? Don't you recognize me?
Should I?
Yes,
We've met before.
we've met.
Where?
He wants to know where. Tell him where we've met, Barreau.
In the bleeding ruin you made of a whole town, Mayville.
You were in my command?
Your command, you filthy Yankee. We was your victims.
Ah, no.
You come riding in with your soldiers, hollering, crazy drunk, burning homes, shooting anything that moved. And what moved, you Yankee trash? Civilians, women and old men, and us here let out of the army for wounds. Now do you remember? Now do you know what we come here for?
You're hanging. It's 8 years overdue. Donnelly, go outside and pick out a good strong tree.
It's the other two sons.
They're all supposed to be away on a cattle drive.
They're alone.
Come on, Smoke.
Will you tell me what's the dead blame funny you've been snickering and carrying on all the way home?
Sally Ann?
Sally Ann what?
Oh, she's gonna be awfully disappointed.
Well, so far it's hilarious. You want to tell me more?
Oh, look at all the stuff she gave me here. Look at this muffler. Oh, look at this. Look. Stillman snake repellent, the cattle drover's best friend. Oh, Sally Ann must expect me to be fighting off snakes with my left hand, fighting off a grizzly bear with my right, and snow up to my eyeballs in the middle of a cattle stampede.
Well, you could go back out on the trail and suffer a little bit for Sally Ann's sake.
Oh, no, wait a minute. Is it my fault that cattle buyer came 100 miles down that trail to take the herd off our hands, huh?
Well, you could have turned him down and told him you were all prepared to go the 100 miles or bust.
Oh. I just got an idea. Hey, come here. Supposing that we don't tell her that the herd was bought out from under us, and that way we get to stay away a few more days.
What are you going to do with your snake bite repellent?
Well, now I just might drink it. Smells pretty good. Here, try it.
Oh, Nick, is that supposed to repel a snake or charm it?
Diego! Diego! No, where in tarnation is he? Diego! That's funny. It's locked. Oh, isn't that a fine thing? You come back from a bone-crushing trail drive, you'd expect there'd be somebody here to put away your horses. Diego! Diego!
Nick, you're going to start an earthquake. Maybe he's up by the house. Come on, I'm starved.
Welcome home, gentlemen. Inside. Join the party.
How much longer are you going to keep us here?
Ma'am?
I asked you how much longer.
You know, I'll bet this old guitar still has a lot of music left in it. May I ask, who played it?
I did.
Oh? Did it give you a lot of enjoyment, miss? Yeah, you see? It's still got a lot of music left in it. If I had one more string, I could play you a right nice tune.
Are you a musician?
No, but sometimes I'd like to earn a living making music.
You do have a feeling for it. And that's rather strange, having such sensitivity, and yet being able to commit cold-blooded murder.
Nobody said anything about murder.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Let me see, what was the word you used? Execution, that's the word, execution. Now, that's a word the military might use. The war, General Alderson. Does this have something to do?
You'll know soon enough what we came here to do. Miss, maybe you'd like to try coaxing some music out of this.
No, thank you. I don't really play very well. Besides, it's awfully warm in here. Would you mind opening a window, please?
Yes, ma'am. Please, miss, I hate to have to hurt you.
Arthur, let go! Let go!
I'm sorry. Now, if you'll both please sit down. And I would be obliged, miss, if you wouldn't do that again. We're here, and here we're gonna stay till the job's done.
That's insane. I was in his command. The general did not order that attack.
Sure. He wasn't even there. We imagined it all.
It happened, but not the way you
Give
think.
me that
My
hand,
men
we'll
were
drag him out.
Why don't you let the man talk?
There's nothing to say. He did what he did. Now he'll die for it.
What do you lose by letting him talk? A few minutes? Isn't a man's life worth a few minutes?
He isn't a man. He's a snake. Now, we swore we'd bring him to justice. Now, let's do it.
Justice? You call this justice?
You keep out of it.
I say he's innocent. And if all the proof you've got is your word that you were there, then my proof is just as good as yours. And I say he's innocent.
Explain that.
I told you, I was in his command. Well, more than that, I was an aide to him. In Mabel.
His aide. Oh, isn't that interesting?
A lot of civilians were killed that night, I know. It was awful, I know that too. And I also know that if we live to be 1,000 years old, we'd never forget that night. And he did everything he could to stop it.
Nick, they're not interested in the truth.
Is that right? Well, mister, that's just what you've got. The truth.
We have to talk. We won't be long. Burrow?
Nick. 8 years. Fine reunion.
Why don't you sit down, General?
Gerard, why didn't you tell me he was coming here?
All I knew is that the Army was sending somebody out to buy our horses, Nick. I didn't know it was your ex-commanding general until he got here.
Well, anyway, when all this is over, we'll show you a real proper welcome, huh?
I've thought about you often, Nick, with the very best of good feelings, I may say. It's a shame sometimes it takes a war to draw men together. They share a deep experience and then they drift apart. I've looked forward to seeing you again very much. Very much.
I'm sure all this will be all right.
Of course it will.
And now that you're through with your talk, you're gonna let him go and clear out of here?
Mr. Barkley, we're not wanton killers. We are not the men you would make us out. We are compelled by duty. Burrow here is a horse breeder.
Mm-hmm.
Tanner and Donnelly are farmers. I'm a school teacher. These are occupations we know we can never return to after today. Occupations we love, but are willing to abandon if that's the price we have to pay in order to avenge the lives of 16 innocent human beings. You said before that you served under him.
Yes.
That night at Mayville, you were there?
I was.
What rank did you hold?
Lieutenant.
Lieutenant? Ah, well, then you had command responsibility.
I did.
And after the shooting started and he arrived in town...
I arrived with him. Well,
I guess we just need another rope.
now you're out of your mind.
You're gonna have to kill us all. You know that, don't you? Don't try to stop us. That'd be foolish. This man and your brother killed 16 innocent men, women, and children.
We killed no one.
Facts are facts.
And your facts could be wrong. That is possible, isn't it?
We were there, mister.
So were they.
You say that all you're interested in is justice. Then why not let a court of law decide whether these men are telling the truth or not?
No, we can't risk that.
But if they're guilty, they'll be punished by law.
In a Yankee court? Now, let me tell you something about Yankee courts. There was rumors against this man back when it first happened. There was an investigation. Do you know what happened? Nothing. Nothing! They'd do it again. They'd let him go. There ain't gonna be no trial.
Are you afraid of letting them tell their side of the story? All right, then. Since you've taken the law into your own hands, why not be the judge and jury, too? But hear them out.
A trial, huh? With us as judge and jury.
You'd have nothing to lose.
All right, Mr. Barkley, a trial it shall be. We, the jury, find the defendants guilty of murder. As judge, I sentence them to be hanged.
Well, I guess that's just about what I would expect from men that aren't killers. Men who really want justice.
Trial would be a waste of time. They're guilty as sin. Prove it.
Macklin, he's trying to stall us.
Oh, wait a minute.
Macklin.
You say you want a trial, huh? All right, we'll give them a trial. We'll find them just as guilty and have the added pleasure of seeing them sweat. Counselor, you have 30 minutes to consult with your clients. In view of the proposed sentence, I suggest you make the most of the time allotted. How big a town was Mayville?
Couple of hundred people.
How many men?
Hardly a one, except you, me, Tanner, Donnelly, mustered out of the Army for bad wounds. All the Grode Able men were off with Beauregard down to Charlottesville.
So the town posed no threat. It had neither war materials, crops, strategic roads, not even a potentially dangerous manpower reserve to justify an enemy raid.
All we had was land. And all we had to put into the land was our dead. Fine Southern dead, that is, not back-shooting Yankees.
All right, Mr. Barkley.
Sit down, Mr. Burrow. I have a few questions I'd like to ask.
What's he mean? I already told you.
Mr. Barkley wants to cross-examine. I agreed that he might.
Sit down. Now, we're not going to discuss the tragedy that happened that night. We're merely going to try and determine once and for all who was responsible for it. Now, you say it was General Alderson.
He commanded the division. It was his men.
How many men?
Well, in a division?
Were sent into town that night. A full division, a half, a quarter, how many?
Well, I don't know exactly. But there was enough to do what they planned.
But not a full division.
I ain't sure.
Make sure.
It wouldn't make no difference.
Then you shouldn't mind answering the question.
All right, it was only some. Now, what does that get you?
A great deal. If he planned to destroy the town. That's all, Mr. Barreau. Nick, come on over here and sit down.
I'll answer whatever you got to ask right from here.
Nick!
Oh, Phil. This is all a bad joke.
Now, you were a lieutenant in General Alderson's division.
Yes.
You were his aide.
I was.
And you were with him in Mayville.
I was.
Did you have any unusual duties that night?
I was duty officer. Duties of a duty officer, post sentries, answer messages, acting commander for the night.
You was right in on it with him, weren't you, boy?
A duty officer has nothing to do with planning strategy. He merely takes charge of unit security for the night.
That's right.
Then what is your point?
Just this. That in any ordinary bivouac, the duty officer takes charge from sundown until sunup. And during that time, he's given an hour-by-hour report of everything that happens in that unit. So better than anyone, Lieutenant Barkley was in a position to know what was or was not ordered.
Go on.
Now, Nick, as duty officer, you made your rounds that night. That's right. You were there when the men left for town.
I was.
How many men were there?
Platoon-sized scouting detail, 38 men.
Isn't a scouting detail usually squad strength, 12 men?
Alderson sent 26 more men than were needed. Why?
This wasn't a regular scouting detail.
Obviously.
Tell him why, Nick.
Well, we were deep in the heart of the South. Most of the outfit was made up of pretty green troops. Besides, we had snipers taking pot shots at us all while we were there.
So it was for the defense of the men themselves that so large a detail was sent?
No other reason.
And you're prepared to swear that there was no attack ordered that night?
I am.
Why shouldn't he? He'll hang if he don't. Macklin.
We agreed, Barreau. They're to be given a chance. Let them talk.
A chance? I didn't agree to that. I agreed to let him sweat. Any of you hear anything said about a chance? Was nothing said about a chance.
Then why go on with this at all?
Now you're getting the idea, boy. Hey, look, we're just wasting time. We came here to do a killing. Let's get on with it.
Are you going to listen to your bloodthirsty friend, or do we continue with this trial?
We continue with the trial.
Ladies, I'm afraid I'm needed downstairs. Which means, unfortunately, we're going to have to tie you up. I know it really isn't necessary, but it's more for your benefit than it is ours. Otherwise, you might be tempted to try something foolish. And not too tight, Tanner. Now, I hope this won't be too uncomfortable, but I shouldn't be too long.
What is your occupation, Mr. Curtis?
I'm a photographer.
And that night, after it was all over, you took a number of pictures, didn't you? Pictures of some of the victims who lay dead or wounded.
That's right.
Did you bring those pictures with you?
Yes, I did. I wanted to show them to the general before we put the noose around him.
Well, you can show him now.
Deny these.
I don't think this is necessary. We're not arguing the fact that innocent people were killed that night. I thought I made that clear. But we are arguing whether or not General Alderson was responsible.
All right, let's take that point up. Mr. Curtis, you were a member of the Home Guard that night, weren't you?
That's right.
And whether it was a division or half a division of Yankee soldiers, you saw what they did. And what they did was murder. That's right, too, isn't it?
That's what it was. Murder. They murdered my mother and 2 sisters.
Did you see General Alderson there that night?
Yes, I did. Killing and butchering with the rest of his men.
You couldn't have mistaken him.
No. No, I'd never forget his face.
Are there any questions you'd like to ask, Counselor?
Yes, but not right now.
Thank you.
Audra, I want to try something.
Too well established that personnel of your command were in the town of Mayville on the night in question, and that those soldiers committed the killings. Is that correct?
The question was, General, 16 civilians were killed. They were murdered by your soldiers, yes or no?
I wouldn't exactly say murdered.
16 innocent people were slaughtered by your soldiers, yes or no?
Yes.
General, did you directly or indirectly cause or order that to happen?
No, I did not.
I want you to know, sir, that I believe you. And if it's humanly possible, we'll make them believe you, too.
How?
By placing the blame where it properly belongs, with the reckless, terrified, drunken misfits of that patrol.
Yes?
Now, were you able to identify the guilty that night?
Not without difficulty. Small pockets of trouble broke out by the stables, the town hall. Then they became a mob.
But later they were identified. And what happened to them?
They were court-martialed.
Then the guilty were punished.
They were court-martialed.
And there you have the simple, uncluttered truth. The guilty were identified and punished. What more do you want?
You haven't asked General Alderson how they were punished. Will you answer that? Were they hanged? Were they sent to prison for 30 years? Were they treated in a manner to correspond with the severity of their crime?
That was out of my hands.
The investigation revealed that there were indeed Confederate sympathizers in the area. In itself, not an astounding conclusion in that Mayville is a town in the heart of the South. And anyone from a suckling babe of 2 months to a wrinkled grandmother of 90 would fit that description. Because of the sympathizers, however, the federal troops were understandably nervous. So that when they killed the civilians, they did so believing it an execution of duty against armed resistance. After the trial, they were let go.
Mother.
It's all right, Audrey. It's all right.
Mother, you're hurting yourself.
Alderson gave a sworn deposition, saying the mistake might legitimately be due to the unfamiliar locale and the relative inexperience of the men. Without that, the court would have convicted. Oh, but there's more, still more. One piece that binds the whole ugly package together. It's true the detail preceded you into town, but you followed soon after, didn't you? To take part, to enjoy the killing.
That's not so.
You mean you weren't there?
I was there. I tried to stop it.
Stop it? How?
I ordered them to break off immediately and return to bivouac.
Did they?
No. They were like animals. Drunken, green, frightened troops. They thought they were under attack.
But they weren't, General, were they?
No, they were not.
In fact, there were no Confederate soldiers in the area.
No?
So then why were they firing?
I told you why.
You told us lies. You ordered it. You planned it. You rode hell for leather when you heard it had started so that you could be there to enjoy it. And your aide over there, he came screaming right in there with...
No.
Admit it, you swatted it. You were seen firing. We saw you.
But not at civilians.
Not at civilians, but there was no enemy to oppose.
I know.
Kill him! Kill him now! Who were you firing at if not civilians?
At soldiers. At my own soldiers. It was the only way they wouldn't stop. I had to fire at my own men.
Help! Somebody help!
And I say you're a liar, Alderson. A dirty, filthy liar. Hear me out. Lies, lies! I can prove it. Give me a chance to tell you the rest. I didn't hate those people. Do you know why I delayed outside Mayville? Do you?
Burrow, Donnelly, after him. You, get over there. Tanner, get some rope. I want these two tied. As for you, Counselor, I hope you won't be as foolish as your brother. I'm a very good shot. All right. Let's proceed.
Lucky thing I smell smoke down there.
I suppose we should thank you.
It's not necessary. It's our fault you're here.
Let's check the other side of the house.
Barkley. Your brother won't get far. As soon as we catch him, we'll proceed with justice.
Don't reach for the guns, gentlemen. Unless you want me to prove a man can get just as dead shot as hung.
Drop it, Macklin, and get over there.
Come on, Gerard, untie me. As soon as I get untied, Mr. Macklin, I'm going to show you a little justice. Barkley style.
Everything all right down there? Ought to heard a gunshot outside.
Heath!
There we are, lady. Well, it might have been a pleasure, Mr. Barkley. But as it is, I think we'd better get back to business. The gun, please.
Give it to him, Heath.
Nick.
Do it.
Nick, he's gonna hang you.
Thank you. Thank you. That was a very wise decision. Mr. Curtis, you can take the ladies back up now. I trust you're seeing to their comfort. All right, let's go.
We didn't have any choice, Heath.
He jumped us from the roof, took us by surprise.
It was a nice try, Mr. Barkley, but it's the last chance you're going to get. Tanner, if they so much as scratch, you know what to do. It's time.
Listen to me.
Can't you even die like a man, or do we have to carry you?
I tell you, you're making a mistake.
Sure. Now, are you walking, or do we carry you?
You don't know what you're doing.
Donnelly, Burrow, take him.
No! I tell you, you don't know what you're doing. No! 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 Wait! No! I tell you! No! No!
You can follow his example if you wish, or walk out like a man.
Macklin, you go through with this and you're a dead man, I swear it.
Move.
You'll be able to watch, Barkley. We're going to hang your general first.
I tell you, I was on your side.
You're confused, General. It was a blue uniform you did your killing in.
The start of the war, I and hundreds like me, officers in the Federal Army, offered our swords to the South.
Sure. And then you all went back to the Yankee army as spies, huh?
Not all, but some, and I was one of them.
Tell me, Yankee, the people you murdered that night in Mayville, before they died, did they make up wild tales like this, too?
You're making a mistake, believe me.
Believe what? If it was true, you would have told the Southern people you say you fought for and cleared the stink off your name.
I couldn't.
I want to do this myself.
The North won, I would have been shot for a spy.
Lying Yankee. Let's get this over with.
No. Wait a minute.
Macklin, you don't believe him, do you?
It's true.
What's true? That a Confederate ordered the slaughter of one of his own towns?
Don't you understand? I was a Confederate spy in the uniform of a Union general.
We're wasting time listening to these lies.
It's true. And the war was lost. We realized that. But out of that defeat, we could still have our victory.
We're talking about the murder of a town.
There can be no excuse for that.
There can be, and there was.
Hang him!
No! I tell you, I was on your side. I tell you, there was much more at stake than the lives of those people. I gave the order for the slaughter at Mayville.
No.
But for a reason. A reason.
You couldn't have done that. I was there. I was your aide. I would have known. You couldn't have done it.
I gave the order to Colonel Brandt. He was killed in the action. I ordered that attack because I had to appear a dedicated Union general. The slaughter at Mayville was to conceal the work I was doing for your side, for our side, because even then, we were planning the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. I can prove that. March 16th, no, 17th. It was a tavern, I forget the name, just outside Macon, Tennessee. You can check it. You can check it. I was with Booth when he plotted the assassination of Abraham Lincoln.
My brother Jonas was with me. He can tell you. Ask her and tell her. Ask her.
Is that what you wanted to hear?
Yes, that's it. And I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. But it had to be this way.
These men are federal officers. They were never going to hang you, Alderson. All we wanted was your confession.
We?
Yes, I was part of it. I'm sorry, Nick.
You're sorry.
Believe me, Nick. I know what you've been through. But there was no other way. I couldn't tell you.
A trick. All this a trick.
Yes. An elaborate trick. But it worked. May heaven forgive me. It worked.
Get the prisoner ready to return to Washington.
If you knew how many times I wanted to call the whole thing off, despite the orders from Washington.
We understand, Gerard.
Last time I'll come home 2 days early.
I don't know whether I should slap you or kiss you.
Well, I would prefer a kiss.
I bet you would.
It will take Nick a little while, but he'll cool down.
Nick, maybe I haven't explained to you enough how really vital this all was.
Well, now, maybe you can explain to me why you put the family through a night of... Well, I don't know what you'd call it.
You were supposed to be away 5 days. I didn't know you and Heath would come back. You were never intended to be involved.
Ah, forget me. Forget me. What about Mother? Huh? And Arthur?
Those men were under strict orders that if Mother and Audra were in danger at any time, they were to call the whole thing off. The fire was an accident.
Oh, so that makes it all right.
Maybe not. But if the government approached you, Nick, and said, here's a man who's responsible for wiping out an innocent town. A man we know helped plan the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. We know it, but can't prove it without your help. If they came to you, Nick, and said that, what would you do?
Probably the same thing.
What's that smell?
Snake repel.
What?
Snake repel. I'm Sally Ann's snake repel, and she gave it to me for the drive. But she made a very big mistake. A big mistake. The only snake I've seen in the past 3 days has been wearing my tie.
Howdy, what a night, huh?
Oh, we either get too much or not enough.
Nick, that kitchen ceiling is leaking like a sieve. I thought you fixed it.
I did, but I wasn't expecting this kind of weather. Come on, Heath, let's take a look at it.
I'll get it. Frank, come in. Come in. My goodness, get that coat off. I'll get you some hot coffee.
I haven't time, Miss Barkley. We got serious trouble. I need your help.
What is it, Frank?
That Earth Dam up at Vineyard Lake. Those Rain's been working on it. There's a good chance the whole shebang might let go.
That dam breaks, the whole valley's going to be flooded.
What do you want us to do, Frank?
Well, I got men sandbagging the dam now. If you could give them any help.
Every man we got will be there in an hour, Frank. Heath, you go see if you can find Jared. I'll round up the rest of the men.
Just hold on a minute. I'd like one of you to go over to Salt Springs. I had the place evacuated last night. But there's people who wouldn't be above looting a deserted town. I got 3 men there now, but I don't know them. I need somebody I can count on.
Well, I'll go. Never did care much for carrying sandbags.
All right.
Heath. We ought to know whether or not that dam's going to hold by sundown tomorrow night. You keep an eye out toward the dam about then. If it looks okay, I'll fire off 2 skyrockets. But if I shoot off only 1 rocket...
Yeah, well, I think I can figure that one out for myself. I'll get my gear.
We'll get Jared.
Frank, Salt Springs is right at the base of the dam, isn't it?
Yeah, that's so.
If the dam goes, how much of a chance will he have?
I won't lie to you, Miss Barkley. If that boy's in Salt Springs and the dam lets go, well, I'd say he'd better have himself a real fast horse. Maybe an ark.
Hello. Anybody here? Hello. Who are you? What do you want?
Heath Barkley. Sheriff Mattern sent me.
Boy, you like to scare us half to death. Hey, Leon, this is the one the sheriff told us about. I'm Cody Grell. This here's my brother, Leon.
Nice meeting you.
Come on inside, meet old Buster. Buster Trout. This is Heath Barkley.
Howdy. Moved out so sudden like they left every bit of the free lunch. You want something?
No, thanks.
How about a beer?
Tastes good.
Sheriff sent Barkley to give us a hand protecting things.
Looks like the free lunch is in good hands anyway.
Well, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what we've been doing so far. Now, one of us has been making the rounds every half hour, been trading off turns.
You want to get some sleep? There's a room in the back.
Sounds like everything's under control.
Well, I ain't too much to walking around an empty town.
Anything new up at the dam?
Well, they'll know something by tonight. 2 skyrockets means good. 1 skyrocket means get.
Well, we didn't unsaddle our horses, that's for sure.
Yeah, matter of fact, if you want us to ride out now, you won't get any argument from me.
Leon, the sheriff asked us personally to do a job for him.
He asked for volunteers, and you were the only one who stuck his hand up, and that's the truth of that. My brother is real civic-minded.
Leon, we've been through all this before. Leave it go, please. See, my brother don't quite understand what I'm trying to do by...
When that dam lets fly, we're going to be the ones blowing bubbles. None of those respectable people that you keep drooling over.
Leon.
Don't pay no attention to them 2 wrangling each other. They do it all the time.
Sounds like you fellas work together.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we got a claim just outside of town. We ain't found nothing yet.
Well, we will. You mark my word. I've been telling him and his brother both. This land is just plumb full of gold. I know. I've been at it for years around here.
Now, you never told us how come you ain't got anything yet.
Well, that's on account of some people are supposed to get their reward early and some of them get it late. But the Lord will take care of me. Don't you worry. He's not going to let old Buster down. You'll see.
How about you, Barkley? You a ranch hand or what?
Ain't a ranch hand with a fine gun like that. Hey, mind if I take a look at that?
Oh, Leon purely admires a good handgun.
Yeah. You know, I have myself lots of rifles, but I've never had myself a good handgun.
Glad you like it. But it's just a working man's gun. Our family's got a spread up around Stockton.
Hey, are you one of them, Barclays? His family's got half this valley in the bank vault. That's what I've been told.
Well, I wouldn't believe everything I heard. Oh. When's the last time anybody looked around?
Oh, I was out a while back. It's quiet as a tomb out there.
Well, I guess it's my turn, huh? Leon, just my need then.
Oh, we'll put your horse in a livery stable with ours.
Good enough.
Hey, hurry back and I'll buy you another beer. On the house.
I'll do that.
Good. Have one myself.
Leon, don't you know nothing about how to act around people?
I didn't do nothing.
But you didn't try to be too friendly, neither. Now, you know why I told the sheriff we were going to help him out. So as people wouldn't think we're just stray dogs. So as people would know that we want to have a stake in this town.
Whew. Boy, they squeezed the juices out of you. We don't own anything in this town, and yet we're guarding it. Now, you tell me how that makes any sense at all.
It makes people respect us. There ain't nothing more important than that.
There's only one thing people respect, and that's money. And ain't none of your ideas gotten any of that yet.
I swear. You two at it again?
Well, you know what they say, Buster. Never interfere in a fight between 2 brothers. You want a beer, Cody?
No.
Cowboy. Clear out. You got the wrong room.
I sure did get the wrong room.
Come on your way before I call the manager.
You better have a loud voice.
What is that supposed to mean?
Manager's 20 miles away.
Yeah? Well, I'm Little Bo Peep.
Look, lady, I don't know what you're doing here, but...
This is my room. That's what I'm doing here.
Because this whole town has been evacuated.
Evacuated. Oh, come on, honey.
Take a look.
It's all right, honey. I ain't going anywhere. Well, I'll be. You were kidding, were you? How come?
Rain weakened a dam up in the foothills. If it goes, so does the town.
Well, Fay, old girl, you sure can pick 'em, can't you? 10,000 Salt Lake towns in this country, and you pick this one. Oh, I'm, Fay Kelly, by the way.
Heath Barkley. Why didn't you leave with the others?
Oh, I was probably too drunk to hear him. She's probably too scared to let him in. Poor little thing. They probably knocked and yelled, and nobody answered. They figured we'd gone.
Well, we better get you out of here. Now, look, I'm just trying to be friendly. Doesn't she understand English?
Not when it comes angry. I found her when I was singing in a saloon. She was swabbing out the place, taking a lot of guff from the drovers who come through. Well, it didn't seem right, so now she travels with me, which is a big improvement. Her tribe kicked her out. They think she's cursed. She can't talk.
Barkley! Barkley! Barkley, where are you? Barkley! Barkley!
What is it, Buster?
We did it! We did it!
Did what?
We caught one. We caught us a real live looter. That's what we done. A real live one, too. Can you imagine that? We caught a looter. That's hard to do, too, you know.
Lady, when I get back, you better be packed up, sobered up, and ready to get out.
Well, real swell meeting you, too.
You pack a pretty fancy rig for a cowboy, Mr. Cannon.
There's nothing wrong with that. Look, I was just passing through. Is that a crime?
From what I hear, Cannon, you were passing through a few stores.
Ran out of tinned beef on the trail. Thought I'd pick some up.
It's a mighty handsome coat.
I'm glad you like it.
Where'd you buy it?
I didn't. Won it in a card game.
Where?
El Paso, about 2 or 3 months ago.
And you've been walking around for 2 or 3 months with a price tag still on it.
Always did have a bad memory.
Well, you'll have time to remember a few things in the Stockton jail.
Oh, you can't hold me. You aren't lawman.
Oh, yes, we are. Duly sworn in. All of us.
The law must be getting pretty hard up.
Hey, listen, mister, you just button up your lip.
Leon, our job's just holding him for the sheriff. Besides, he's not the only problem we've got. There's 2 women over at the hotel. They got left behind somehow.
Are they good looking?
I gotta go over and get them packed up and moved in over here.
Hey, Barkley. Whose horse?
What do you mean?
The way I count, 5 people here and 5 horses. Now, whose horse those women gonna take?
He's right. You can't get away from a flood on foot, Barkley.
I'll take my horse.
Then somebody's gonna have to ride double. Can't make any time that way. I ain't riding double with nobody.
Well, guess who his riding partner's gonna be?
Satisfied?
I just want to find out what the arrangements are going to be, that's all.
Now you know.
Boys, I don't know why you're so anxious to get out of here. You got whiskey, food, and women. There's nothing wrong with that setup.
Mister, what we're doing here is upholding the law.
Sure. Sure.
I told you, Angel, I ain't going anywhere.
Look, will you just get dressed? In a few hours, this whole town may be underwater.
No great loss from what I can see.
Well, why? Just tell me why you want to stay.
I never saw a flood before.
Oh, can't you understand that this is serious?
All right, I'll be serious. In the first place, an elephant sitting on a footstool couldn't have a bigger hangover than I got right now. In the second place, I got a roof and some food, which is more than I got over the next hill.
And if that dam breaks?
Yeah, that's the third thing. If the dam breaks, what are you going to do? Leave the girl and me here? Oh, no, you wouldn't do that, would you? No. So what else you going to do? Tie us both on the back of a horse and slap his rump? Hope he takes us to high ground? No. Admit it, Angel. We're staying. And besides, I told you before, I ain't never seen a flood before.
All right. All right, but you're moving in closer with us. And the saloon is our headquarters.
All right, Angel. But I ain't going to no saloon headquarters in this rag.
Your boss sure is taking his time with those women.
He ain't our boss.
It looked like he was the one giving the orders.
We're all in this equal.
Yeah. You rich guys sure do stick together.
You think we're rich?
You mean you aren't? Well, that is absolutely amazing.
How come you thought we was rich?
Because the real name of this town is Temptation.
Oh, that's enough of that kind of talk.
Oh, let him go on and talk. What's it going to hurt for him to talk?
We're here to guard this town. That's what we're going to do.
Well, who said anything different? I was just giving you boys a lot of credit is all. Ain't many regular folks. Poor, I mean. Like all of us. Not many could just stand around and leave things be.
We just don't happen to think stealing is right.
But this ain't stealing.
How do you figure that?
Yeah. How do you figure that?
You mind if I have a drink?
Sure.
Well, it seems to me when a man steals, he knows he might get caught. There ain't no way a man could get caught here. You see, I figure a man could take a few wagons and load them up with, well, whatever struck his fancy. Then ride on out a few miles and wait.
For what?
Well, if that dam busts, he keeps right on going. This whole town will be underwater. No one would know if thing had been taken.
Yeah? What happens if that dam don't bust? Yeah.
Well, then he rides back here. And all the folks will call him a hero for doing his best to save their precious, lifelong possessions. Be hard for a man to lose, no matter what happened. I don't mean to sound like I know it all. I'm just a cowboy passing through.
Hey, Cody. You know, if you work like you said, you know that, don't you?
It ain't right to steal.
Well, how about that time in Carson City?
We was starving and we wanted food. That's different.
Well, I bet you the owner of that store wouldn't think so. Now, look. Mom made me promise never to fight you on things. I never done it. Even when we threw in with old Buster, I stuck with you. I was up before dawn. I was down in that mine with you. In that black hole at 8 or 9 o'clock at night. I remember times trying to remember what the sun looked like. All the time you was telling me how good things were going to be and how respected we was going to be when we hit that rich vein. Well, we hit it today, Cody. Huh?
I don't want to ever hear you talk like that again.
Uh-huh. Because you know it's true. Because it is true. didn't realize that you were so tempted, Cody.
Kelly.
Howdy.
Now there. Who's your friend?
Never mind, Leon. Where's that spare room?
In the back. Couple of cots in there. Ain't no blankets or nothing.
She's an Indian, ain't she?
That's right. Take this. Go down to the dry goods store and pick up some blankets and anything else you might need.
Angel, the town's deserted. Who am I supposed to give this to?
Well, nobody. Just leave it on the counter.
You sure are a unicorn. You know, that thing looks like a horse with a horn. A fellow once told me that horn represented honesty, which is swell, if you happen to believe in unicorns. Well, come on, honey. Honest John wants to throw some money away. Boys?
Hey, General. I thought you was going to get rid of those women.
Easier said than done.
Don't bother me none. That squaw's a pretty little thing.
Uh-huh. Don't talk about the squaw like that, Buster. You'll get the man mad. After all, rank does have its privileges.
I'd take it a little easier on that stuff, Leon.
I've gotten along without your advice for 28 years. You just leave off.
And I said take it easy.
I've got enough problems around here without you getting drunk.
You got more problems you know about, Barkley.
Show the man who you're with, Buster.
Drop your gun belt, mister.
Let's get it.
Hold it. A simple choice. Say yes and you're rich. Say no and you're dead. You got no time and less patience, so let's hear it.
Cody, I told you the truth. People only respect money. Now it makes a man walk proud. Cody, give us a chance.
We're wasting time here. Let's get him.
Get to the livery stable, quick!
What happened, the damn
Just get moving!
Oh.
This way.
I don't have to ride that thing. Huh?
No, just hang on long enough to get out of town.
Can't we make a deal with him?
Afraid not.
Oh,
Does she know how to ride?
I don't know.
She's about to learn.
He's trying to tell you. Wait a minute. She wants to tell you something.
It's too late. They know we're in here. Get behind those bales over there.
Barkley? Barkley!
I hear you.
You're gonna be sensible about this?
I hadn't planned on it.
We're coming in. You can't hold out, Barkley. We've got you outnumbered and outgunned.
Yeah, you got it all. Everything except the horses.
He's right about the horses. We're stuck, Cannon.
So is he. Tell you what, let's start hitting those stores. We've got about 3 hours between now and sundown to make a collection.
Collection? That's some word.
Don't waste time on anything cheap. We'll find another wagon on the street. Dump everything in there.
Won't do us no good. We can't get out of town.
We'll get the horses later.
How? You don't expect me to go charging that stable? He'd burn us down like dry grass.
He can't shoot what he can't see. When it's dark, the 4 of us rush the place. Shouldn't be any trouble.
Gonna kill him?
If he puts up a fight, that's only self-defense.
How about the 2 women?
Yeah, killing women. I won't have no part of that.
Neither would I, so don't worry about it. You 2 boys get started. I'll tell Buster.
Cody? Come on. Come on!
Left the old man to guard the door. I figured the other 3 have started looting.
How do you know they're not sneaking around in back figuring to set this place on fire?
No, not with the horses in here.
Oh, I have that carved on my tombstone. They didn't burn her up because they didn't want to hurt the horses. Thanks, friends.
Well, you had your chance to get out. You should have taken it.
My chance. Let me tell you something about little old Fay. I can sing a pretty mean song and tell a barrel full of jokes, so this fella, Harry Cole, he convinced me that all I needed was his help to make me a big star. And he helped me all right, taking my money through the 3 years we was married. Then he took off for Alaska with a waitress. And that's the way it's gone for little old Fay. Looking for unicorns and getting kicked in the head and then drinking to get rid of the pain. I know I had my chance, Angel. You was worried whether I'd drown in a flood. I was wondering whether it'd even matter or not. What are you doing, Angel?
This wall connects to the building next door. If I can get through here, maybe I can get out that way to get some ammunition.
Hey, Cody, take a look at that. Ain't that something? Huh?
That's just like Billy the Kid.
Hey, right. Let's get you something now. Let's see, what'll it be? There you go. There, now Big Cody's got himself a hat. How about that? It's gonna be all right, you'll see. Come on, we got lots to get still. Come on. Here's where we get some gold. We don't have to dig for it. Yeah. Let me. Hey.
Can I, do anything?
No.
Sing the Lord's Prayer. Don't mind me. Them men out there. You see them in every saloon. Usually they're fighting to buy me a beer or walk me back to the hotel. It just don't seem natural, them trying to kill me. Don't seem right at all. You know something? Maybe you were cursed. Maybe we was both cursed. You don't understand me at all, do you? I don't understand myself, especially now. I want to laugh, I want to cry. Mostly I just want to pray.
How's it going?
Not a peep out of him. I've been thinking about that surprise him in the dark idea, and I ain't fond of it. There's a better way.
I'll listen.
See that crack in them boards?
Yeah?
Why don't I just slip over there and drop a little fire in it?
No, we don't want to burn the horses.
And neither does he. And when he comes out there to tromp out that fire, he'll be right in my sights, and bam!
Buster, you're a crafty old coot. Barkley got Buster. He let go right through the wall.
Don't be afraid. You can do it.
It'll be dark soon. I think I'll go finish putting our little collection in the wagon. But you stay here. Keep your eyes open.
Still out there?
Yeah, they're still there. How you doing?
I felt better.
It's no answer.
Well, that wasn't the brightest question I've ever heard.
It's my best petticoat. I hope you're honored.
Sure am.
Tell me something, Barkley. Why are you doing all this? Huh? You never saw the girl or me till this morning. You live in another town. Even if you save the whole kit and caboodle, the dam's liable to bust. Nobody ever know what you done. Doesn't make much sense.
I guess not.
Then? Why?
It's hard to say. Never tried to figure it out. One time I was riding up in the high country, above the timberline, and I got lost. And then I found a trail marker. Kind of set me straight. The point is, I don't know who put up that marker. But I know if he were here today, he'd be the kind of man that'd be fighting on our side.
Where do you think you're going?
We still need that ammunition.
You're not going to be any help to anybody if you go out there and bleed to death. She's the only person here who's got half a chance. Give me a bullet.
No.
There's no other way, Angel.
Rifle.
See this, Angel? You know what I'm trying to say, don't you? See if you can get some more just like it at the hardware store. You can do it, can't you, honey?
Leon, it's wrong what we're doing. We'll never get away with it. The law ain't ever gonna know about this. We'll know, won't we? We already stole. Can't change that. But we ain't killed, Leon. We ain't done that. What, are you scared? Yeah. I'm not of getting killed. I'm scared of the way we're gonna have to live once we go through with this thing.
Well, we've done too much to back out now. We're gonna see this thing through.
I was just talking.
What's the matter with you?
It's time. Cody, You stay here. When I whistle, you start shooting through that front door. That ought to get his attention. And Leon and me will bust through the side door.
Right.
Make sure you aim high so you don't hit the horses. Come on, Leon. Leon, when your brother starts shooting, you follow me. You get a chance to break in that shiny new gun. That is. Right.
I can keep this up as long as you can. Hey! Cannon! Cannon! I got myself the squaw!
Oh, you only got one bullet in here, and you're bleeding.
I know. Oh. Now, you watch that Dan for a signal. 2 skyrockets means you stick tight. 1 skyrocket, you hightail it out of here and don't stop for nothing.
Angel, I think I'm starting to believe in unicorns again.
See ya.
Hey, Cannon! Cannon! I got myself a squaw!
Where'd you find her?
I found her in a hardware store getting shelled.
How'd you get out? You hear me?
Oh, she can't talk, I don't think.
Is Barkley out of that stable? Just nod your head, yes or no. You go on back and check that hardware store again. Barkley knows we got the girl. If he wants those shells, he'll have to get them himself. I'll take care of her. Easy, squaw. You ain't going nowhere. That rifle this way. Come on. You just made my share a lot bigger, Mr. Barkley. I'll say one thing for you. You didn't give up. You hung on like a terrier. Pains me to kill you.
You all right?
Yeah.
You always wanted a good handgun, didn't you? What am I going to tell Mama? What am I going to tell Mama?
Angel, I only counted one skyrocket.
Yeah. We better get moving.
They ain't fooling, are they?
No, they ain't fooling.
Well, what do you know? Maybe little old Faye's luck's beginning to change.
I've got it all. I'm up on top. I feel the music and I never want to stop. So much to cheer about and fill my cup. The world and I are on the up and up. And suddenly my heart is mountain tall. I found my love and now I've got it all.
More, sing another song. Thank you kindly. But I better get down to the music hall after you spend so much time trying to get me on the bill. I better show up on time.
We'll be in to see you.
Oh, fine. Just make it before the Temperance Club finds out about me. But who knows? Maybe not anymore.
Well, I'll get the bags up for you, Ray.
Oh, thank you, Angel. Gee, I sure hate to leave here. Haven't been in a place with so many handsome men since... I'll tell you that story sometime. Well, Angel, it was... I won't say fun, because that makes you laugh, but I will say good, because that makes you strong. Bye.
Hey, are you sure you told us everything that went on in that town?
Well, sis, I thought I did. But I guess sometimes you just don't know everything that's going on.